Okay, good morning everyone. So I hope you are doing good with your study and your health. Hope everything is fine for you. Okay, so far we have talked a lot about cause and effects essay. Specifically, we focus on organizations, how we write, how we organize the cause and effect essay. We were talking about thesis statement. We were talking about transitions or sentence connectors for cause and effects essay. And in addition to that, I give you some instructions, not some, but one homework about vocabulary used in cause and effects essay. So today, you don't need to do many things like before. So what you have to do is to listen to my quick presentation about cause and effects essay, and then at the end I will post some sentence examples so that you can go through and study the example sentence, and that is for today. Okay, so you don't need to submit anything, just watch my presentation and read the simple example that I will post later on. Okay, so without further delay, let's go to the my presentation about cause and effects essays. Okay, again, I asked you a lot of questions, some questions about what is cause, what is effect, what is cause and effects essay, right? So here is the question: why write a cause and effects essay? Number one is to understand the relationships of events that brought about an outcome of something, right? Number two, to understand the result that come out of an event. Number three, to understand the chains of causes and effect between some events. So here is why we write cause and effect essays. We go to the next. This is how we plan a cause and effect essay. For example, what is the purpose and thesis of cause and effect? Number one, uh, to be sure to identify the relationship among the specific causes and effect you will discuss. So you need to identify the relationship between the things specifically and clearly. Thesis statement should tell the reader the point you plan to consider. What you want to consider? See the red letter here. Whether you will emphasize causes, effects, or both, right? So you go to organization, you will understand in your thesis statement whether you want to emphasize on causes, effects, or you want to emphasize both, and how, right? The position you will take. So the position that you take causes, effects, or both, and you're gonna tell us why. Okay? Tell the reader why. Next, organizing the essays. So here is an introduction. So what you can do in an introduction, I can highlight over here. Introduction. Okay, so number one, you can start with a quote, like it's a hook, right? List or a descriptions or a statistic to catch your reader attention. So it's what we call a hook statement, a hook sentence, right? So a hook sentence usually start with the first sentence of the paragraph. So with the hook, you can start with a quote, list, description, or some facts, some statistics, so that it can catch the reader attentions. And then you second one, you introduce the subject and explain the situation. You introduce the subject, you introduce your topic, and then you explain the situation. And then you give any background or material that is necessary for the readers, and then you give the background. Last but not least, uh, this is the last sentence of the first paragraph, the introduction paragraph. It's a thesis statement, right? And you already learned how to write a thesis statement. Okay, so here you go to another point. So here is important definition. I guess I told you to do this, and you did a good job in that. So necessary cause, one that must be present for the effect to occur. For example, combustion is necessary to drive a gasoline engines. Sufficient cause, one that can produce an effect unadded, those there may be more than one sufficient cause of given effects. For example, that battery is enough to keep a car from starting. Faulty spark plugs or emitting gas tank will have the same effects, right? So it's sufficient that means implement another one. So contributory cost that help you to produce an effect but cannot do it, right? Cannot do so by itself. So it's just the contributors of the cost, right? For example, Running a red light might have to cause an accident. Those are the facts. Pedestrian or other car in the intersections must also be present, right? So running is the contributory cause. That meaning, yeah, you go through the red light, it's an accident. It's a matter of fact of the pedestrian. Pedestrian is somebody who walk along the road, and the car intersection must be present over there. Okay. Okay. So let continue. So I was talking about contributory causes, and we finished that. So let's move to another point. Okay, let's talk about effects. So when we talk about effects, we have immediate effects and remote effects. So immediate effect is an effect that occur closely following in time or space, and it causes. For example, you can read the example. Children having bad study habits will lead to them making poor grade in elementary school, right? So that's immediate effect. If you have bad study habit, you will score poorly in your grade in elementary school. So in immediate, it closely connects. But remote effect is an effect that is far away in time or space from its corresponding cause or causes. Example, children having bad study habit could eventually lead to them making less money and being less happy with their career. So it's far away with time and spaces. So have a bad habit, have a bad study habits, as a consequence, you might have less money and you might not be happy with your careers in the future. This is how you order or how you put the sequences. So there are several possibilities. For example, chronological order or cause your chance. You just do like, or you can have like main cause first and then contributory causes. Contributory cause first and then main cause. First the missed event and then that are not the cause, and then you discuss actual causes for the events. The miss mean something at the beginning. It's the description of an event. So negative effect first, and then you can start with positive. You can begin with immediate effects first, and then you move to remote effects. So these are the order or the sequence of how you organize the cause and effect essays. Okay, this is very important. I like to highlight it. So avoiding logical fallacy, avoiding post hoc reasoning. So usually we suggest that you do not assume that just because an event A precedes event B, event A cause event B, right? B. This logical assumption is called post hoc reasoning. This area led to confused coincidence with causalities, right? So we cannot use that. That's not cause and effect. It's what we call logical fallacy. It's a wrong reasoning. Okay, so what you can do in conclusions. So revisit the introduction, like we usually do in the conclusion paragraph. You can restate, right? So you revisit the introduction. So what conclusion or point can be drawn or made from point presented? So what should be the conclusion? What should be the point that you want to talk? You do not summarize the point from the body of the essay. What you have to remember, do not summarize, okay? So you can restate what the point can be drawn for the conclusion, and somehow you can give your suggestion or your prediction about the topic. So that's what you can do, okay? Good. Next, language. Okay, so I guess you expose yourself to many language uses and transition. So here is another transition, or it's not another transition, but somehow it's the same transitions, right? So transition are essential to this type of essay to distinguish causes from effects. Because you have like because of uh, for sin as a result of those, therefore consequently result in leading, bring about and produce. So these are the transition that you can use. Here we go to the next one. Here, do not confuse word like because, therefore, and consequently indicating a causal relationship. Actually, it's not it's not a causal relationship. So don't confuse with that. But like for this one, consequently, later and afterward, a chronological relationship but right? So these are not causal relationships. Okay, next one. Here is the example and the outline of how you can write the example of the statement and the outline of the body and conclusions. Okay, you can see multiple causes go to the effect. So you talk about the causes and then you move to the effects. So we read the thesis statement together. So here we go. Air pollution is caused by varieties of imperceptible but controllable industry which need to be regulated before irreversible damage to the environment occurs. Okay, so they talk about the air pollution, and the cause of air pollution is the uh, variety of imperceptible and controllable industry. So it's all about industry. So number one, they talk about exhaust gases from car. So they have like 2 point A and B. Government does not take into control the gases from the car. Citizens are not concise as they could be. The main citizens they are not careful. They don't pay much attention to the gas from the car. Uncontrolled factory gases. For example, A. No regular check on gas release that need to be regulated. B. Factory are inside the border of the residential area and should be removed. Uh, Third one, burning of low quality coal for heatings. A. Government does not take enough control. B. The form of energy are too expensive. That's why. These are all the causes or the reasons. So causes and reasons are the same. Number one, number two, number three. So number one is about the gas from the car. Number two is about the uncontrolled factory gases and the burning of low quality coal for heating. So these are the causes of air pollutions. Okay. So this is an example. We go to another example. Okay. Cause and multiple effects. Here's a thesis statement. Let's read together. Watching too much TV is one of the major sociological issues of this centuries, which has many adverse effects on the physiologies and psychologies of children. Okay, so what is the cause? The cause is watching TV, right? And then the effect is adverse effects on physiology and psychology of children. That's the multiple effects. So number one, what are they? Eating disorder, we mean obesity, right? We sometimes they are watching TV and they are eating at the same time. They don't have schedule. They don't have family eating somehow. Obesity, they eat something that is not good, fast food, for example. Number two, communication problem. The children who expose themselves to watch a lot of TV, too much TV, they will have communication problem. For example, they are become more violent when they watch violent movies or fighting movies, and they have no interpersonal talk. Interpersonal talk, like they don't know how to talk to the other person, to the other people. They just communicate with TV. Educational issue, stifles imagination. Like children, they begin, imagine a lot. They take away time from reading and studying. So children who watch a lot of TV, they don't do a lot of readings and they don't have enough time for their studying. So that's the you know for effects of watching TV, too much TV. Okay, causal chain and domino, you can somehow call it domino. This is statement. Children who do not develop study habits while they are young still struggle throughout their education and will find it more difficult to become successful in their careers, thus emphasizing the importance of the parents taking an active role in their children's education. Number one, children who are not encouraged by their parents to practice reading and writing outside of school will get behind other students at the age level. Number two, when children feel they are behind their classmates, they will become discouraged and will find little positive reinforcement in the school environment. And without motivation, children will give up more easily, especially once they reach their high school. Last but not least, students who do not graduate high school on average earn less money and have more difficult time returning to school later in life. So you see, that's the causal chain. That's it. So, domino means one cause happened that led to another cause. So this one, number one, the first, and then it led to the second one. So number one, no encouragement from parents. Number two, feel behind their classmate, and without their motivation, children will give up easily when they reach high school, and then they go if they don't graduate from high school. On average, they earn less money, and they find it difficult to turn to school back later in life. They cannot go to their university level. Okay, so here is the end of my presentation today. I hope you get something from my presentation, and again I do this because you have learned a lot, you have read, you have talked, you have discussed a lot with your friends in Google Classroom. So let me emphasize, let me stress on what I have talked. So I begin with why we write cause and effect essay, and then I go to plannings and organizings, how we can plan, how we organize essays and organizing the essay, especially in the introduction and conclusions. And I talk about effects, immediate effect, remote effects. In addition to that, I also talk about the order or sequence of the cause and effect essay. We have a lot, and then how you can avoid logical fallacies. Don't confuse with this. It's not the cause and effects. And I move on to talk a little bit about conclusion. And last but not least is about a language. Sorry, it's not last. The second to last, language or transition, and the example, the re-assess statement, and some outline of the example, like multiple causes to the effects, cause to the multiple effects, and last but not least is the causal chain or domino. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the presentation. I'm really sorry for the mistake because it's a video recording. I make mistake unintentionally, and somehow I don't want to go back and forth. It takes so much time. Okay, so after I pause this, I will pause another example. It's a type of cause and effect example, so that you can go through and then read and then try to study the example. And that is it for the today class. Thank you so much for watching.